Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I want to start this off before I even get into the subject material. Thank you thank you to every single person that has subscribed to the channel this last year. I started this year off with 45, 46 subscribers, and now I'm up to 200. That's awesome. Thank you so much for everything you guys have done for this. And I hope I can continue to make awesome content from here on out. So thank you so much once again. And as you can tell from the thumbnail of this video, we're talking about Digimon Survive, and I really did not like it. Now, what I mean by that is I was disappointed by this game, and a lot of other people were disappointed by it too, for different reasons. Now, let me explain a little bit. Going into this, I knew it was going to be part visual novel. What I did not understand, or did not expect, was that the game was 80% visual novel, while only 20% tactical RPG, which is the part I was excited for. Now, don't get me wrong, the story is very interesting. In fact, it's pretty good. But the way that it's executed is so poor, and honestly, it was not the right idea to go with a visual novel to tell this story, at least in my opinion. Now, the game focuses on a group of kids, very similar to like the original OG Digimon Adventure cartoon that I grew up with. And in a way, this feels like a retelling of that story with newer characters that have a lot of similarities to these older characters, and putting a new, darker spin on things. Of course, you got your trusty Agumon with you as the main character, Takuma, and I was all for it. You know what? When I saw this game, I was like, a dark story-based Digimon game with tactical RPG elements, Agumon as your partner Digimon. I was there. You had me. And, it's unfortunate that when I got this game, I ran home, put it in my Switch OLED, and I started playing right away. And my excitement slowly dwindled, because I was hoping this game was going to be like maybe 60% visual novel, 40% tactics RPG. Something similar in a way, like maybe a weird combination of the Persona games and Fire Emblem. And the more I played it, the more I just realized, oh, this is mostly a visual novel and not a tactics game. Now, visual novels, I know a lot of people, there's a large fan base for them, and that's awesome. But they're not my type of game. And I don't really like spending $60 on a visual novel. Now, before everyone starts saying, like, oh, well, you should have done your research on this game. Oh, you should have known that this was a visual novel. I did do my research. And yes, it did say that it was going to heavily emphasize story in this game over gameplay. You know what? To me, maybe I was, I misunderstood that. To me, I thought that meant, like, they were going to go, like, ham on the story with, like, cutscenes and, great animation. But no, it really is just looking at this screen, as you see here, looking at these characters with maybe like 3 to 5 different animations for them. Or like just, different stills for them to show off, when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're scared, stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, the artwork for this game is very pretty. It looks great on the OLED Switch in handheld mode. But when I'm spending $60 on a game, I need to know that it has plenty of gameplay for me to, enjoy. And unfortunately, this game just it doesn't have the amount of gameplay I want for a game that's $60. There's a lot of problems I unfortunately have with this game, but let me start off with what I like about it. I like the darker story and the emphasis on a darker story in comparison to a lot of other Digimon games in the past. This is by far the darkest storyline I've ever seen in a Digimon anything, and that's really cool. I do like some of the tactical gameplay. it's of course it's a tactical RPG, and I do like that gameplay, and I feel like I've never played a Digimon game like it. The artwork is very pretty. That's it. Unfortunately, there's just way more that I have a problem with in this game than I enjoy. First and foremost, I do appreciate any game, especially if there's a lot of text, that they do have some voice work. The unfortunate thing with this game is that it's all Japanese dubbed. There is no option for an English dub, and I have a problem with that. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, that's not a big deal. To me, it is, because I am an anime fan that likes watching my anime in dubbed, English dubbed. Because I'd rather read manga and watch anime. And with this, I was very let down. And I know a lot of Japanese games that they get ported over to the Western markets here don't have an option for English dub. And I think that is incredibly lazy. And I understand it's to save money. They don't want to hire a secondary voice cast. But for certain games with a lot of text and a lot of emphasis on story and characters, having voice acting helps. And having voice acting in your preferred language is great. So that's one of my biggest things. The second thing is, like I said, the game is 80% visual novel and 20% tactics RPG. And when so much of that is part of the visual novels is just you looking at these characters and like pretty backgrounds, it gets old. And for a while, I really was just like pressing the A button, trying to like skim through as much text as possible to get to the next gameplay section. And that just leads into the third part, is that the game is just incredibly slow. It takes forever to get started. You don't actually get to do your first tactics battle until about 2 hours into the game. And that's way too far. You do a little practice match in the very beginning, but it's you lose. You're not meant to win that. It's just to teach you like the basics, and then they teach you a couple more basics in the gameplay 2 hours in. And it's very basic too. It's not very in-depth. It's very much like kids' first tactics game. Fourth, I don't like the characters in this game. Like, they're not terrible. There are two characters that I do not like. And they just brought the story down for me. Because here's the thing. This is a slight spoiler, but it seems like there are characters, the characters can die in this game. They can be taken away depending on your choices in the game. And I'll get to that in a second. And at that point, certain characters in the story, I didn't give a damn about them. I wanted them gone. I did not like certain characters in this game, and I feel like they wanted me to like them, but I just couldn't. So characters were bad. What I was going to talk about. Choices. They set up a choice system where, like, you get 3 options in a lot of different scenarios. And depending on your choice, you get points into a certain path. That path will then dictate what Digivolution line your Agumon will go into. And me being a fan of the original series, I wanted Greymon, Metal Greymon, War Greymon, the OG line for Agumon, at least for me. And I did not get that because I did not choose the right path. And even though after you digivolve into a champion form, which I got Tyrannomon, don't really have any emotional connection to him, so I really didn't want him. After you get to that Digivolution line, you still get choices. Like, you can still pick what points you want to put into what path, depending on your choices in the game. That doesn't affect your Digivolution line anymore. So I don't understand why that's even there. The other thing with this game is that speaking of Digivolution lines, you can negotiate and talk to other Digimon, wild Digimon in the game during these free battle segments, and that's what I use to help basically level up my characters, so they can be decently strong. you can talk with them like in the Shin Megami Tensei games, and you can convince them to join your team. After battling with them for a while, you'd expect, like, hey, I should be able to digivolve with them, right? After they get to a certain level or so. Kind of like Pokemon. Nope, you need to find a tablet. And these tablets are very rare in the game. So in my 10 to 15 hours that I've played so far, I've only found one. And so I'm like, I don't really know who to digivolve right now. And I don't know. I just feel like that's not the best way you could have done that. I feel like, you know, it would have been better to be something similar to Pokemon, where you can find, like, after a certain amount of battling you can do, once you get to a certain level, you have the option to digivolve them. And I don't know. Maybe it's not, you don't want it to be exactly like Pokemon, but anything's better than finding ridiculously hard tablets to then digivolve one Digimon into, because it's once you use it, it's gone. The game apparently has multiple different storylines. It's 12 chapters. Apparently after chapter 8, depending on the choices you made early in the game, it will split off into 3 different paths. I'm 10 to 15 hours, probably closer to 15 hours into this game, and I'm still on chapter 4. But there's 12. And why would I... That just shows how slow this game is. That it takes forever for anything to get going. The story is just nonsense. Like, these characters are just like, oh, you know, we should do this. But why should we do that? Hold on, what happens if we do that and something else happens? It's just a lot of needless dialogue that really didn't need to be there just to pad out this game's length. Don't get me wrong. I love a game with a lot of content. 40 hours of content, normally I'd be like, that's a fucking steal. But not with a visual novel like this. And I will say that I will defend a lot of the people that are review bombing this game. I don't agree exactly why they're doing it, but I will agree with them on one thing. The game was not marketed in the US as a visual novel. The most watched trailer for this game that was released here in the US was focusing on the tactics side of things, you know, the tactical RPG nature of the game. And I think if you had just watched that and decided, you know what, that looks cool, I'm going to pick that up. I haven't played a Digimon game in years, why not? That would have pissed me off if I got this home and realized, oh, it's a visual novel and not an actual, you know, not a game with gameplay, you know? So they have every right to be upset, in my opinion. I think if they had actually marketed this like full on, like, hey, check out this amazing visual novel with some tactical RPG elements. But I have a feeling they didn't do that on purpose because they didn't want the game. They wanted the game to sell. And unfortunately, the fan base for visual novels is not nearly as high as for people who are into RPGs, if that makes sense. So I think that is deceptive marketing. And maybe they didn't mean to do that. You know, like I said, there were multiple trailers, but that was the most viewed trailer in the US. So overall, I'm very mixed on this game. I want to keep pushing through it because I know the story gets super dark. And not only dark, but like it's very adult themed. But I'm bored. I don't want to look at the screen, you know, with a person that's just completely still, the occasional blinking, and their mouth moving, with dialogue. If the game had, you know, full voice acting and it was English dubbed, that would be one thing. But I don't know. I can't do it. I might pick this up every once in a while and keep trekking, but honestly, it's going to be hard for me to finish this game. I want Digimon to succeed. And like I said, the story in this game is really neat. But the game could have been better if they had chosen a different option. Like, you know, a different option to tell the story. I think something along the lines of Digimon, of Persona, and Fire Emblem would have been a great combination. But, you know, it's very similar to the Digimon Cyber Sleuth games that we got recently. And sure, it would have been very much similar to those, but those games sold pretty well. And I don't know, like check this out. This animation in the very beginning of the game is really cool. I was hoping for more stuff like this. If they had told the story in cool cutscenes like this, I would have been way more interested. And I don't know why they didn't. The game was delayed for so many years. It's very confusing why it was delayed for so long, because really nothing's changed since the earlier promotional stuff for this game was revealed. Like, really, what was taking them so long that they had to delay this game over and over again when it really looks the exact same? I don't know. I'm sorry I ranted a lot in this video. I get very emotional about things that I like. And video games is one of those things that if I'm spending $60 on it, I need to like it. I need to find a reason to keep playing it. Because then I just feel like I wasted my money. And I feel like this, unfortunately, is one of those games I would not have bought at $60. I probably would have waited till it's $30 at least. But that's just my opinion. What you guys think about Digimon Survive? Have you played it? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's start a discussion down there, because I love answering your guys' comments and getting your opinion on things. I may keep trying to play this, but unfortunately right now it's going on the back burner. Especially since we're not getting a lot of games coming out soon. It's going to give me time to work on the backlog. But once again, like the start of the video, thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed to the channel this year. I started this year with maybe 40, 50 subs, and now I've gotten 200, and that is such an amazing feeling. Thank you so much to every person that has liked, commented, subbed. It's been great. I hope to keep your subscription, and I hope that I can keep making content you enjoy for years to come. But I think that's it for now. Thank you guys so much once again. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, like I said. And until the next video, take care.